Hi, this is Zach Hale, and we're going to do another video tutorial where I try to teach you something and you try to learn. Which, I mean, I'm sure that you'll be able to learn, and hopefully I'll be able to teach something, but I didn't mean to sound, cocky or arrogant or jerkish in that regard. Please forgive me if anybody was offended by what I just said. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a new document. Strange how often these tutorials start with making a new document. It's like, wow, what do we do except just like make new documents all the time? We're gonna make this 600 by 600, something nice and big and huge and awesome. Um, I'm sure you read because you read, but I'm sure you read. I haven't said what we're doing. We're making a cloud brush, not like the dude off of Final Fantasy VII, but like clouds, like fluffy things that you see in the sky. First, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start and make some clouds. Wow, imagine that. That making a clouds brush starts with clouds. But it does. And I just had a failed attempt at making a clouds brush. So that's why everything is already set up to make a clouds brush. So I'm just going to delete this. So you guys pretend for a moment that you didn't see that and that I didn't make it. Hey, look, there's my brush right there. Anyhow, so what we're going to do, take a big fuzzy brush here, and we are going to, maybe not quite that big, we're going to open up the quick select option, and we're going to select an area that has some light and some dark. And so I'm just going to take and I'm going to select this area right here. And it doesn't have to be perfectly round. In fact, it probably shouldn't. It just has to be something, with some definition and some variety in it. And you also want to make sure that it's away from the edges, because even though this line right here, this only shows when it's more than 50% selected. If you're using a fuzzy brush, then it has opacities on the edges that are significantly less than 50%, and so the actual selection extends much farther. And what you're going to do is go into, I found it just a second ago. There we go. Edit, define brush preset, and it'll just be called sample brush 1, because it's a sample brush and it won. What did it win? It won the opportunity to be on my show. So what we got here, this is the sample brush 1. And as you can see, it's just this big blurb that's actually a lot the same size. And if you were to run it over this document, then it would look kind of weird. Actually, that looks kind of cool. I'll have to remember that for the future. The future. What we're going to do, let's make a new layer here. Let's take our paint bucket tool and just make it blank and featureless and drab like my life. No, actually not recently. My life has been pretty cool recently. Basically what this does is this will take whatever color is over here as your foreground color, and the preset that you made, it will take and make just use that as kind of a mask, and you click and look, that's what we did, And if it was blue, then it would come up with, well, we'll do red, and then they'll just stamp the same thing in red. What we want to do is we want this to be an awesome clouds brush. So what we're going to do, open up the brush's palette. And this is what the brush looks like when you drag it around. And we are going to do what we can to change this. First, we're going to change the master diameter to, what are you doing? 100 pixels. That's a good round number, right? It's awesome. And then we're going to go into the brush tip shape. And we're going to increase the spacing a bit, because we don't want the clouds like right on top of each other. We're going to the shape dynamics, and we're going to change the size jitter a bit. This will randomly change how big that stamp is. And we're going to take this angle jitter and jack it all the way up, so that, as you can see, it make it so that they're all different angles when they go on there. And because it looks good, we'll take, oh gosh, that's just about where I had it before. Wow. You'll find that a lot of these settings are the way I just made them moments ago. And then we'll go into the color dynamics, and we'll change the foreground to background jitter. This will change, instead of printing just in the foreground color, basically this number defines how much of the background color will get into that, randomly superimposed into random stamps. If you think of this like a little stamp thing. And actually, I'm going to go back to the brush tip shape, and I'm going to space it closer together so it looks gnarly. And then I'm going to see how this looks. Wow, and actually that looks pretty good. Seeing as how I just did this a moment ago and failed atrociously, I have good practice. Yeah, I would definitely say that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it a different color. Just kind of a neutral color. I mean, not neutral, but a non-neutral color. I'm working with currently in red and black. I mean, sorry, white and black. I don't even know my colors today. And so I want to see how it looks, see how the balance between the foreground and the background is working out. Because that's an important thing, you know, when you're blowing stuff up and making explosion-y things and you know, all sorts of fire and destruction and smoke contrails. You want to make sure that your color's okay. So I see that it is getting some white into there when I use that like that. And if I use the white, then yeah, there's getting to be some gray in there. Maybe a little too much. I'll go back to the color dynamics and tone that down a bit. Yeah, and that's looking a lot preferable to me. And so there you have it. It's now a cloud brush, and it's all cloudy and stuff like that. And you can, oh wait, you need to save this. Go down here and click on that. We're going to save this as cloud brush. And okie dokie. Now the preset that we made is still in here. This pretty much useless one. So we're going to take this and we're going to delete it because we don't need it, we don't want it. And that's all that there is to it. Now we've got a cloud brush that makes clouds. And it's really kind of cool. You can sit and you can take this blue background and be like, hey look, it looks like clouds. Put an airplane in there or something. Pretty gnarly. Anyhow, so this is Zach Hale, and signing off. Hope you learned something.